So you're feeling a bit confused about the different types of occupancy. You've heard about economic, you've heard about physical, don't know the difference. Well, guess what? I'm going to simplify things for you and clarify it all in a very brief video coming up. Hey there, I'm Billy with Keep On Cash Flow, and I'm back once again to continue to share tips and strategies with you that are going to help you to go out and make more money. They're going to help you to have more control of your free time, and ultimately, they're going to help you to live with less stress. So if this is your first time here, why don't you go ahead and make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and at the same time, you know what? Once you find value in the video, go ahead and give it a like, and make sure you share it with at least 2 to 3 other friends. Because then that way you're actively participating in the growth of our community with other very cool, like-minded people. And so for that, I want to thank you right up front. But you probably want to get into today's content, which is really understanding the whole thing about what's the difference between the types of occupancy. Or maybe when you've been looking at opportunities or you're reviewing things for your next purchase or your investment, you see occupancy and everyone tells you to check on the occupancy and you may be putting that into some of your numbers. Well, I recently had a call with one of my students, and maybe we'll figure out once again how to get a picture of that, but we were going through a couple of different things in a particular opportunity that he's looking at, and when we went through this particular opportunity, we realized that, well, you know what, there was a question around occupancy, and so I started digging, because this is one of the things that I start seeing all the time when I'm speaking with students, and it's this whole question of occupancy, and understanding that, hey, listen, they're telling me that there is a 6% occupancy rate or a 5% occupancy rate. And I said, okay, well, that's great. And how many of those people are actually paying? 100% of those people? And there was silence. He wasn't really sure. And so I felt like, look, let's go ahead and share this with you because it's one of the things that we've talked about before as it relates to due diligence. And we look around the different types of expenses that you may be looking at in your property. Right? And one of those is really understanding that there is a part that is vacancy that you want to account for whenever you're going through due diligence. So let me make this really simple for you. When you look at occupancy, and there are probably different variations on this, but I just want to keep it super simple for you. Number one, you want to actually see if there's someone physically in the particular unit. So if you have a 10-unit apartment building, and every single one of the units has a resident in it, then you are 100% physically occupied. But as we know, as investors, you're here to make sure that you're purchasing streams of income in the future. So the fact of the matter, if someone's in a unit, but they're not paying, that creates a lot more headaches for you. It potentially can cause you or your team to be going out to have to try to collect funds to have them pay the rent. And eventually if that doesn't happen, then it takes you into legal aspects, et cetera, et cetera. But the unit is physically occupied. What you really want to be interested in is the second thing, and you always need to be asking this question, especially when you're going through due diligence, is what is the economic occupancy? And so we're going to use the same example. If you have 10 people in each one of the units, but only half of the people have paid, you actually are 100% physically occupied. However, the income stream that you've purchased or are purchasing for is only 50% occupied. So that can cause a lot of problems because all the things that we talked about before with rent collections and legal, not just one time, but times 5. So I wanted to stop and make this really easy, quick video because you need to always be asking yourself, not just what the physical occupancy is, but ask what is the economic occupancy. That's also going to help you to be a much more credible investor when you're talking to your team, when you're talking to brokers, et cetera, because they know that your game is taken up even a notch. So, like I said, really quick video, want to help you with that. I think it's going to add tons of value to you. I'd love to know how often you're thinking about the difference between physical and economic occupancy. You can leave that in the link below. And also too, I want to just remind those of you that are continuing to watch that I've been working in a really big corporation for the larger part of 15 years or so. And at the same time, I've had the opportunity to build my own business. Now, you can do that either actively or passively, and I know I've talked about that in other videos, but if you're interested in figuring out how you can do that so you can have more control over your financial life, all you need to do is go to keeponcashflow.com/roadmap. There you leave your name and email address. You can pick up a free ebook that I've created just for you and that way you can find out more about how you can do something similar, and you can also avoid a lot of the mistakes that I've made. So anyway, listen, my name is Billy Keels with Keep on Cash Flow. That's my 2 cents for today, and as always, hasta la próxima.